Welcome to the Guy Talk Show. We are the guy.
We are the guy. We're guy. You're guy, I'm guy. Definitely, man. What's up? First episode of 2019. First full week. 2020. Jesus Christ. Where are the flying cars? What the fuck? I need my fucking refund. I was told I was going to have flying cars. I was told I was going to have a monorail.
That was like...
I was told I was going to... No, man. I've been fooled.
Monorail.
I got fooled. I was told everything... I was going to... Money wasn't going to be a thing. And I was going to have that little Star Trek thing where they put something and they get whatever they want back. I was fooled.
What can I say?
This isn't the life I deserve.
Come down, millennial.
How dare you? So anyways, yes, we're back, man. We took a little bit of break, I think, for the holiday season. A lot of people did, I think. Kind of fell back a little bit. Just had a time to be a drunk. Get drunk 7 days straight. Now I'm suffering the consequences. And
That's why I only did it.
I regret nothing.
Straight.
I regret nothing. So
no regrets.
No regrets. No regrets. Not even a letter. So, but yeah, definitely, man. How you been?
Pretty good, man. I've been just focusing on myself. I started my legs for the first time working out.
Did you really? What did you do?
Squats.
Squat.
To pick up the breadcrumbs.
The breadcrumbs to pick up the freaking can of beer I dropped.
So yeah, man. What's up with you?
Nothing, man. You know what? I've taken a little bit of a hiatus from social media as of the last couple months. I think it started to fuck with me a little bit, like my mental. It just wasn't cool. And so I have two Twitters. I have the fuck Twitter, the Twitter where all the fuckery goes down and all the Iran World War III memes are going down. I had an awesome time that one day. A little bit of dude, actually. So I smoked a little bit of a little bit of weed, and I'm in my room and I'm laughing so loud. My mom comes in and she's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm fucking fine. I'm Twitter. You wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't understand." So I'm having a good ass time. But so and then I have the perpetual. But then just coming back on Twitter, I'm not tweeting or anything like that. But I'm starting noticing, like, man, these women have gotten really fucking aggressive. These hoes are taking over, man. The hoes are taking over, man. And they are in full disposal mode of men. And I guess that's what we've been doing to them all this time. We've been bumping and dumping and licking and passing. And we've given absolutely zero fucks about some of these women. And I feel like the empire is striking back. And this is where we actually came up with a very fitting article. Thank you to Dr. Wendy Walsh. I love you.
She's pretty hot for a 60-year-old.
And the way she just explains things makes a young man, what do they call it? What did Little Richard say? You make my toe shoot up in my boot. But anyways, what I'm saying is, I started seeing that, and then just the article about double standards, right? We're pretty critical of these females, right? The hoes. We don't like them doing men things because we do it, and then when they do it to us, we hurt. But then we don't understand where that double standard comes from.
Right.
And it turns out that there's very valuable research made by Mrs. Dr. Wendy Walsh that we found fitting as hell to this argument.
Yeah. And
I know, like, she takes it back a little bit to our previous, times many years ago, where we needed to, women. So the thing was, sex was high risk for women, right? And you can explain a little bit about that. I think you're on it, and
we're talking about double standards, right?
Right.
How we see, or we still have those double standards, yet you're seeing a bunch of hoes on Twitter being hoes.
Yes, hoes being hoes.
And the thing is that there's nothing wrong with being a hoe if you want to be a hoe.
Absolutely not.
Right? But the double standard's still there.
Yeah.
And she talks about how, evolutionarily speaking, double standard just we men created, not we. I didn't have anything.
I got shit to say about it.
But
I benefit. I reap the rewards of a double standard. But go ahead.
Men created it, for the purpose of keeping or making sure that the women you were going to have a child with, that was your child and it wasn't someone else's child.
Right.
Right. So we stigmatized women who were, just sleeping around.
Right.
For that purpose. Men don't have that, are not criticized to that same level because, if you do that, you're a player. And it's a compliment.
It's a very much compliment.
If you're a player, that's one of the best things you can hear, right?
Listen, that is what's gonna make your old man happy. Oh, my little stud. You know what I'm saying?
But if your daughter is fooling around,
that's not going to make your dad very
shame
happy.
on you.
Susie Q swat and spit. Look at that. They don't like that shit. You know what I'm saying? But so this is the thing, man. I know you talked about it. I know how sex came with a higher cost back then, right? Obviously, women needed to be more choosy. And doing so because, there wasn't things like birth control. There wasn't really abortion. And a lot of babies did actually die along the process of giving birth, right? So they had to obviously rationalize as much as rationalizing and women don't go together, but apparently they had to do it here.
I think it's evolutionarily speaking, again, is something that you kind of figure out just because if you have a bunch of kids, you probably are going to be poor. You're going to suffer. You're going to struggle with taking care of all these children. Obviously, you need a bunch of help from your mother and your sisters.
Other women.
Right. And you definitely want to choose the right guy who has the resources, who's going to provide all of this. Now, that's kind of disappeared.
Right.
And then the question is like, all right, is there still a moral aspect that women should not be hoes just because now they can?
Do they owe it to themselves? Because obviously it's
to
not
themselves or society or men. Obviously to men, they don't know it.
They owe it to
anything.
Me.
So yeah, I mean, is it a moral thing? I don't think it's a moral thing. It was more of a practical thing. It just made sense for them. They were going to suffer if they were sleeping around and they're having all kinds of children. The guy wanted to make sure that that child was his. So, if you're sleeping around, you don't know whose it is. Is it mine? Is it yours? Is it whose is it? So, again, it made sense back then. Now women are working, women are making their own money. There's birth control, so the cost of sleeping around is not as bad as it once used to be.
Even like if you think about it, even a few decades ago, remember when we were watching the Masters of Sex, when women would come and they would ask for birth control? Like, whoa, wait a minute! Like the doctor would be like, "What do you need birth control? Are you married? Do you have somebody?" Like,
with that kind of like
that,
look.
like. Yeah, and that was what, 50 years ago? Oh my goodness, 50 years ago. No, 60 years ago, 2020. But think about it. And then now, how do we do it nowadays? I feel like nowadays, how do we keep these women in check? By shaming them, by talking bad about them, by beating up their self-esteem, and letting them know, if they do that, this is what you're going to look about. So in a sense, it's depriving themselves from exploring their sexuality. You said it, there's birth control, there's certain things they can do if they so choose to engage in it. I always say, look, it's your body. You can do whatever the hell you want to do with it. Just do it responsibly and understand the consequences. Because there's consequences to everything. And if you're okay with that, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. If you're okay with that, go ahead and proceed with caution.
Right. But again, like we were talking earlier too, we still have this subconsciously that same mentality from before. It's obviously hard to get rid of, especially we come from a Hispanic culture. The machismo, women are more submissive, all that, right? So I think even with us, even though I think we're trying to fight it just because rationally we're like, all right, women can do whatever they want with their bodies. It's completely cool. But at the same time, we're talking about, but it's still kind of like, we still kind of have that judgment when we see someone like that, right?
Yeah. I think so too. I mean, to be fair, I think, some of these women obviously have some issues and stuff like we talked about too, maybe have to deal with it. But just to keep it in the sake of the conversation, should it be that way? I personally don't think so.
You're talking about daddy issues, right?
Yeah, daddy issues, certain
but
psychological
let's put that aside.
Yeah,
let's
put that aside.
Like
exactly.
you're both mature adults.
No, if it's both consenting and it's practiced safely or not, whatever. Just again, I can't say anything for. Look, like I mentioned before, your body, your decision. You can do whatever you want with it. Obviously, as long as it's illegal, you can't be, commit suicide because then you're dead, but there's no consequences. But what I'm saying is you can literally do whatever you want with it. Now, obviously, it's a both consenting adult and stuff like that. And you mentioned it right now. I think where we still live is you can't get over that because we men have, especially in our culture, have a outlook on what a realistic wife material is. And a hoe does not, what is it? Too Short the rapper said, you can't make a hoe a housewife.
No, a hoe is a hoe.
A hoe's a hoe, right? So, but again, listen, I'm in my 30s. I'm like a year away from it. But as older as I've gotten, I had a much more of a problem when I was younger with girls like sleeping around. Right. As I got older, I understood. Like, look, man, she wasn't fucking born yesterday. She has sexual free will. So why I gotta judge it? I mean, then, but post that and me understanding it, then I can decide if I want to be with that person or not, and why they decided to make certain choices. But that's beyond me. But to say like, if a girl's expressing herself to me in a sexual way, I don't see it as her being a hoe. I see it as her just expressing herself in a sexual way, or before I had my girlfriend and stuff. Even she did it.
I think we criticize women for being hoes if they're not being a hoe with.
Oh, we want them to be nasty. We want them to spit on it.
Sleeping around with everyone else except for me, then yeah, she's a hoe.
We want her to gurgle with us. That's it. If it's with anybody else, then we see them as they've been touched, they're tainted. No, listen, man. We expect our women to be ladies out in the streets, but fucking sex machines in the bed, right? And we didn't expect them to do that before us. Because we just have this weird, like, no, that wasn't you. Like, and then we get offended when we realize she's really good at something. It's like, where did you learn that? And then we fuck ourselves up. It's like, Jesus Christ. Like, get over it, man. It was all practice.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, us talking about hoes, we don't mean any disrespect to any hoes out there. We actually, our point is that...
Except my ex-girlfriend. She was a
hoe. Which one?
I don't want to say.
Oh, the hoe?
The hoe, dude. Which other one? The hoe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, like, yeah, we're joking around the hoe thing, but no, I mean, like, I think we need to get past that now, like, at this point in time.
Grow up.
Yeah, like, hoes, it comes down to the tone.
Yeah.
You say it, because, like, oh, that's a cute hoe. It's kind of endearing. It's kind of nice. It's not disrespectful, so obviously we're joking around with the term. But you're right, a woman who is promiscuous. If she's promiscuous, it's completely cool.
How you feel about that?
About what?
Promiscuous women.
I don't, again, man.
Your personal,
my rational self, I'm completely cool with them doing whatever they want. If I have, like some emotions invested in her, yeah, of course, as much as I want to get rid of those emotions,
and it sucks.
But then again, that's that subconscious still, gripping into those old kind of whether it was what's cultural or not. I think it's part of it. It's culture, and part of it is just our human, emotional part that we can't control.
Right.
Just like jealousy.
So check this out. My girlfriend, when we first started dating, it was whatever, just casual. And she actually told me, she's like, hey, I went and I just hung out with somebody else, like at a bar or whatever. I had no problem with it at the moment. Tell me why, like 2-3 weeks ago, I'm like, hey, you went on a date with that other guy. And it bothered me then, but it didn't bother me before.
Again, man, it's that emotional
investment and I'm like,
when you have with somemean.
And I'm like fucking mad. Like, what the hell?
Who is you? Yeah. Kick his ass.
No, I knew who it was. I mean, it's fine, I understood. Our agreement was, it was just casual, and it was, we enjoyed each other's time, and she told me that because, she wanted to have a relationship with me. She missed being in a relationship because of how well we got along. And I don't think she thought that I didn't want a relationship, which I kind of didn't at the time, but obviously it evolved to then, it's a great thing. Right. I'm glad I did it because she's an awesome person. But what I'm saying is, she told me that, and I was like, motherfucker. And I remember I woke up one day, I'm like, wait a minute, like a thought that just this could have gone into the into the universe and not ever hit me again. And it did one day. I woke up, I'm like, wait a fucking minute. She did that. And then it bothered me, which now it doesn't bother me. I think I was, it's weird how our minds work and our emotions work.
It is. I mean, a lot of the time it's just understanding who you are and how we react as humans, and all the emotions that we have. I think a lot of people overreact because they're not aware of that. They just have a bunch of insecurities, because, again, the lack of awareness of how we as humans work, especially, we're talking about the whole emotional part, especially investment in someone like that. So, but I think a lot of people just don't understand. That's why they create all this drama behind it.
Yeah.
And that's like, like all these hoes who we're talking about on Twitter, going back to those. Yeah, they don't need a man, but if they have a child,
the child does.
The child needs a man.
Yeah.
And you should think about the child before, you claim that you are independent. Yeah, if you have no children and you're gonna be, sleeping around or doing whatever you want, fine. That's completely cool. That's exactly what we're trying to do. Defend women for being hoes. But again, when you have a child, you shouldn't be saying, no, I don't need a man. Because maybe you don't, but the child does. So don't be a selfish bitch.
There we go. There we go. You said, you know what's so crazy? Speaking about these hoes and hoe tendencies. So we can get into all kinds of hotivities, you know what I mean? Or whole topics. But honestly, so I have a friend, right? And she's a promiscuous person. She's a promiscuous person. If you're out there, you know what I'm talking about. She's a homie. But I don't see her as a hoe. I don't see her as a hoe. I see her as someone who's just exploring her sexuality. But I know her. I know her intent. Maybe at the time she was, but now she's just dating around, right? But the thing is too, though, that I feel like men and women fool themselves a little bit when they're fooling around, and they're attractive. They can just kind of have sex with most people that they want to have sex with, and if that's all they're doing, and they're just fucking bumping and dumping, they kind of get lost, and it's just like wasted energy, wasted emotion, and at the end of the day, it's a consequence too. Everything comes with a consequence.
Oh, of course. I mean, yeah, there's definitely that. If you're just doing it for the physical pleasure, you're not thinking about anything beyond that. Yes. I mean, it's like, all right, how many people can I bang? I guess at that point, it's more of like that. I think. I don't know.
It's hard. It's hard, man. To keep it coming. To keep all, no pun intended. Like to keep. I know some people can do it. But even like guys, I've met guys who I'm like, hey dude, you're probably banging girls pretty often. Like, nah man, they go through dry spells. So again, it's just like, it's
all cyclical, even our sexual
it's
life.
Like, when do you get laid more, during the summer or during the winter? Like I'm trying to, is it cold weather affecting it or is it warmer weather affecting it because people are outside? Let's take a poll.
No, but there's also that I think Wendy Walsh was talking about too, that like, it also makes sense to be monogamous because you also kind of have that security.
Yes.
That security of having someone around, even if she doesn't put out, I guess. At that point, I don't know. But she does make a contrast.
That's not very secure.
There is that statistic that was showing that, I forget exactly how many, like if you're, for example, for reproductive purposes, for having a child, if you're with someone, yeah, you can have a child. Once a year, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's once a year. Yeah, if you have sex twice a week for the whole year, you'll have one child every year. One child every year.
Right.
That's what she
said.
Now, if you don't have a consistent partner, I believe you had to bang
like
out
33 women.
33 women in a year to have one child.
Right, just because of she has to be at the right time in the month to procreate, to
and ovulation and all of that. Dog, if you can bang out 33 women in 1 year, you might be like Wilt Chamberlain. You might be like a porn star. But I don't think as good as looking as you are, unless you're paying for it, I don't think you can bang out 33 girls in a year.
Well,
Maybe in a couple years,
If
because
you have
then
a
you
lot
divide.
of money, you're a celebrity, and that's what you're trying to do. Like
Yeah,
Charlie
yeah, yeah,
Sheen.
yeah. Oh, of course, he was
All
pumping
right,
66.
right. So there,
The
I mean,
average Joe.
there are a few, like a handful of people or a handful of men that who can do that. The rest of us,
George
yeah,
Clooney,
we're,
absolutely.
yeah. So no, of course, if you have the power,
Paul Rudd, maybe.
Paul Rudd.
Ant-Man.
Well, I guess he is
Robert
a
Downey
superhero
Jr., absolutely.
with all the blow and everything.
100%.
Oh, no, he doesn't do that anymore.
Oh,
right?
he's sober, he says. So he says. I just think he's got a handler now that just gives him enough. Just enough, dude. That's enough. I said that's enough. You know? So, and maybe.
Yeah.
But think about it. Yeah, like, so to procreate at the same, so this is basically just for a procreation. If that's what you want to have children, then yeah, absolutely. Monogamy is the way to go. Now, I don't want children, but I enjoy from a monogamous relationship too. I enjoy the trust. I enjoy the companionship. I enjoy the company. I enjoy the likeliness, the opposite of the other person. I also enjoy that too. Now, I've also been, playing myself for before all this, and I enjoyed that too. But there wasn't much substance there. It was just, oh, she thinks I'm funny.
And you were younger, you had more energy. I think as you get older too, like you're like, oh man.
Oh yeah, I'm not at the bar scene anymore.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it all
I don't have the
depends.
Tinders. I don't have none of that. Never really did, anyways.
Right. Because like she also talks about the monogamy. Is it natural or not? And it seems like it is natural, But obviously, it's more like
which we initially thought it was the opposite. That it wasn't natural.
Because we see all these monkeys, like just kind of banging out each other, the bonobos and all of them, right?
Which she also goes into for societal, like monogamy for the current where we live. We wouldn't get shit done if we were all monogamy or we were all fucking each other. It just we wouldn't do anything, to be honest. When it's a monogamous relationship, at least things are out of bounds. Now, can you think about it, dude? If we're all fucking everybody, everybody's having children. Like now, our kids are fucking the kids. You know what I mean? Like everyone's got.
But
so
well, her point about that is that it would create a lot of conflict within a society, not because everyone's fucking each other, but because the men at the top will be getting all the women. Like Charlie Sheen would be getting all the women, and all the rest of us would be like,
I want some women too.
And so if he gets tired of them, then like, all right, we'll get the leftovers.
And pretty sure he might impregnate a few. So then now you got those issues because now you're fucking Charlie Sheen's baby mama, and God knows what the fuck he did to her. You know what I mean?
So I guess like for guys like me who we're never really players, we're never like really trying to get all kinds of chicks. Yeah, it's probably a good thing that there is monogamy.
So for me too. I like I said, I enjoy it. Listen. As much as I probably don't come across this podcast or whatever, I'm a man of perceived substance. I like to think that I have a little bit of substance, just a little bit. I like conversating. Obviously, why we created this. But listen. Okay, my advice to young little playerettes and players is this is the thing.
You mean hoes and players?
Hoes and players, right? If you're gonna be engaging in that kind of stuff, do it safely. Also, think about your listen. Somebody told me, listen, when you're about to do something, think about your future self and think about if that future self would be a problem. I know it sounds kind of corny. I get it.
It's not corny. It makes sense.
Right, but let me explain.
All right, go ahead.
To me, it sounded corny. Like, fuck that. I don't give a shit. Now, when I'm looking back at certain things that I did, I'm like, there's a couple things I could have done. I'm not talking about sexually, but it can imply in that for some of you guys. Don't fuck everything that walks, man. Trust me. You don't want that issue, just in case you do get her pregnant, because it seems like that's not stopping. Teen pregnancy and young unwanted kids are happening.
Although it has slowed down.
It has, but you don't want to be caught in the net of dealing with somebody for the rest of that child's life, and that you hate each other for no reason because you know what, you saw her, she was kind of hot, she had a nice ass, but then you didn't realize the baggage she came with. So if you're gonna be in those kind of situations, also expect some consequences.
That's why just be responsible.
Yeah.
Be like, there's definitely birth control for both men and women, and there's no excuse.
Men have birth control?
Well, condom.
Oh shit! You know what? I don't even know.
Not the pull-out method,
Oh
dude.
no! I thought a condom was like not a male birth control. It is a birth. I get it. It's just you see how in my head it never rationalizes like it being a male. Like you think of birth control and you only think of like women taking a pill, her tying her tubes, or getting some sort of injection. It's just you only associate birth control with women, not men. But yeah, condom, getting your shit snipped, it's male birth control.
Right. And it'd be irresponsible not to do either of those things. You know, again, the pull-out method, don't be fooled, guys. It does. You can be lucky
for so long.
Yeah. Because part of that is probably just she's not in the right time of the month to
what's really 3 days.
Yeah, so maybe, you know, you just got lucky that you didn't.
3 days, you divide 3 days by 31 days. That's the chance of you guys getting pregnant, depending on it, depending
10% or so.
Yeah, like a 10% chance every time. You guys, you know, you just landed on that square, literally on that calendar square. So be careful, players. And you hoes, be careful too.
Yeah. So anyway, just to end this, hoes will be hoes, and that's completely cool. And
I got no problem with that.
Just be responsible. That's all. That's our public announcement, or public, or what's the.
If anybody's worried about Iran, worry no more. Donald Trump's got this.
He does.
He does. Alrighty. We love you guys. Click, subscribe, like, comment. For those listening to us on the audio, we appreciate you just as much as the ones that are viewing our shit on YouTube.
Give us a 5-star on there too.
Yeah, hey, drop a comment, give a review, guys. Please, whoever reviewed us that one time, we really appreciate it. That means a lot. It just shows that somebody's getting it out there. So at least what we're doing. So I appreciate it, and yeah, that's it.
All right. Till next time.